And we're back with a quick channel update, and it's been a long time since my last channel update. I'm not very good at these, am I? The quick news on the games is we're going to be starting Dwarf Fortress soon, but first I have two things I have to finish, because if I don't finish them, I'll go crazy. One of them is Ixion, but I think we've broken that one already. I think it's kind of broken now, so the end of it should be actually pretty easy, so you'll just have to finish that one off. And I also have to finish off that Starsector playthrough, the Kaiser Soze one. Yeah, that's going to be fun. We all we've got to do is just, wipe out all the planets. I'm sure that won't take more than like 10 hours or so. As for RimWorld, it's going to be, I think it'll be a while before I go back to RimWorld. I think we've broken that or taken it as far as we can. It was just at the end there, I was trying to think of some sort of challenge we could do, but there was nothing. We literally moved to a combat tile and activated a ship engine, and it was still like, meh, I didn't really feel too worried about our team. They were just a little bit too strong. It's got to be like, I think it's the psi powers. I should probably do a few tutorials actually on RimWorld while it's still fresh in my head. So if you have any suggestions for tutorials you'd like to see for RimWorld, just chuck them in the comments, and I'll see about getting them out sooner rather than later. Some thanks are in order as well. When going through that RimWorld playthrough, people started posting little stories in the comments that sort of just added flavour to the whole playthrough, and a big thanks to all of you, especially big thanks to Red Unicorn Gaming. You added, I think, more stories than just about anyone else, and added way more flavour. Big thanks again. That was, those little stories really just made everything just that much nicer and sweeter. Well, maybe not sweeter. That one story about that Bundy father thing, yeah, that one still haunts me just a little bit. That Ixion game got me thinking, because I've sort of played it about halfway through, and already I realised this is just going to be like a one-off game. I don't see myself ever coming back to play this game again, and I wonder what it is about some games that make you want to come back, and others that are just like, nah, it's a one and done. And there's always different things you could say about it, but I think for me, it's the games I started with have kind of influenced the games I now like. Like I remember getting was it Deus Ex? The original Deus Ex, the one back from like I think 2000. That was like one of the first PC games I ever played, or one of the first decent ones anyway. And back then, you didn't get a lot of games releases in a year. Like there'd maybe be like 2 or 3 big games released in a year. Now there's like, whatever, 50 big games that come out that you can play. Well, depending, like if you have Nintendo, maybe you've got some access to some other stuff, PlayStation, Xbox, all that stuff. But back then, if you had a PC, not a lot of things going on. And once you started playing a game, like you were probably going to be playing it for the next 6 months. So games that had lots of different ways to play them, lots of depth, lots of little things you could tweak or weird things you could do. I remember playing Deus Ex, and I think there was a Paris mission. You had to do something in Paris. And I think it was my second or third time through, and I was being a little bit bored. And I discovered that when you could kill the NPC characters that were running around, or the barman, or whoever, you could mess with everyone. It was one of those games that gave you a lot of free reign. And what I noticed was, if you killed someone without other people noticing, they wouldn't freak out. Because if you actually killed someone, the rest of them would run into the bathroom, and then the game would despawn them. So all the crowd would run away from you and run off into some side room and then vanish. So what I did was I spent about 6 to 10 hours just slowly going around the level, trying to sneak people off into certain locations and just knock them out or kill them while no one else could see them, so that I could eventually get everyone on the level dead. Not because it helped the storyline, not because it gained me any more resources, just because. Because, you only had the one game to play, or 1 or 2 games to play, so you're gonna, milk every single last drop of fun out of it. So an experience like that kind of makes me like games where you can do, weird things like that. I think the lack of games back when I first started has sort of directly influenced the games I like now. Because if I grew up now, and I had access to games where it's like they don't grab my attention in the first 10 minutes, I'd probably be bored, to be honest. Like, I've noticed that with TV shows now as well. Unless the first episode of a TV show is, amazingly good, you tend not to go watch the rest of it. Like, they have to do some really severe things in the first episode to grab your attention, because there's just too much out there. One thing I definitely need to do is get better about my time management. For example, I was playing the RimWorld game there in the background, and I was like, okay, we've finished off all that stuff. I'll just try and skip through to the end of the Arconex's questline. And then I was just playing for a few hours, and I'm like, what am I doing? If I just skip through to the end of the Arconex's questline, I'll be spending 10 hours getting the statues, carrying them over, building the base, holding on just long enough to do the research, then moving on to the next level. I'll waste 10 hours just for a few minutes of footage just to get that finishing thing going on. And it's like, why? There's no need to finish it. I'm wasting so much time just to get, maybe a few minutes of an update of, we got Emily through to the end. Though I do like the idea of leaving that team there for now, and then maybe in the future adding something to spice up the playthrough. Someone was recommending using the Void mod, or the Void Storyteller mod. We'll see, but I don't think I've seen the last of that team. I'd like to bring them back at some point, or maybe even just bring back one of them. Just bring back one of the team and have them be the start of something. And just, they'd be trapped on their own and have to just build up an empire. Maybe. I've been keeping an eye on Oxygen Not Included, but unfortunately they haven't really released much for it. I think there's like some things involving the vents, and there's one thing involving dreams, but there's no real major updates as of yet. But I'll keep an eye on it. I figure at some point there'll be enough to warrant going back and giving it another playthrough. But for now, after playing Ixion, I realised I have a bit of an itch I want to scratch. I want to play something, a newer game, a modern game. It's just Dwarf Fortress, I think, is about 12 years old or something. RimWorld's pretty old. Even Oxygen Not Included has been out, 4 years now? So I'd like to try something a bit new. So I got 4 games that showed up in my queue in Steam. So I figure I'll put them out there and see which ones people would like to see. Just a brief playthrough of. Just get the hang of. The first one that came up that looked interesting was called Returnal. It's sort of like a first-person shooter bullet hell, or is it a third-person shooter? Whatever. It's a bullet hell type one, and supposedly very dark and disturbing, which sounds, intriguingly fun. Also incredibly hard, I hear, but we'll see. Next up, we've got Atomic Heart. This one is, from what I can see, it's sort of like BioShock, but set in a sort of dystopian Soviet Union. Which, yes, all those things. I'm a big fan of Stalker, so yeah, go for it. That sounds interesting. Also, first-person shooter as well, though. I don't think first-person shooters are very popular on the channel, but yeah, I'll put it out there. Then after that, we have Spaceborne 2. It's like Starsector, but 3D is the best I can put. I don't know how in-depth the trading is and the space combat. Maybe you've only get one ship, but it showed up on my list and it looks pretty decent, and the reviews seem very positive. Then we've got Zero Sievert. This one is actually basically just a stalker slash Escape from Tarkov, but top down. It's like a 2D version of those, so you're running around a bit like the graphics look a lot like RimWorld. But it's survival and you have to go around shooting stuff and, I'm suppose radioactive dogs and stuff attack you. Honestly, this show just showed up with this and I thought, that looks mildly interesting. I might give that a go for a few hours. If you have a preference, vote in the comments below, but I'd like to pick one of those and just do a quick run through. See what I've been missing out on while I've been deep diving into RimWorld. I am going to keep this channel update short and sweet. I said I was going to limit myself to no more than 10 minutes because I know how I like to ramble, so I'm going to keep it below that, definitely. Also, I've got to do that Ixion, finish off that Ixion playthrough, and there's about 3 jumps we have to do, and I got to imagine there's more complex stuff. Yep, who cares? I'll worry about that once I've finished. Then we've also got to do the Starsector playthrough, and then, depending on what people pick in the comments, I got to, hammer out one of those games, which probably means next week I'm going to be playing, I don't know, Zero Sievert or Returnal or whatever's on the list. We'll find out depending on what way people go with that. I would seriously like to thank all the patrons who made this insanity possible. I don't know why you support me doing dumb stuff like that. It blows my mind. All I know is I'm incredibly grateful. I raise it last to you. In fact, actually, yeah, I will raise it last right now. Actually, no, wait, no, I gotta play Ixion. Whatever. I'll play better after I have a few. I would like to thank you all seriously from the bottom of my heart and my glass. So, thank you for making this thing work on YouTube, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.